All right, everybody, welcome to today's training. I'm going to be talking about events today and the importance of events in this business. Now, anybody who's in, I would think, who's in a professional environment with a job, okay, whether it's healthcare, construction, real estate, we usually have to go to some sort of training meetings, right? Sales meetings, training meetings. I had to go to get my CMEs. My husband had to go get his continuing education, has to go do those things. And they are boring. It's boring conferences. You're like, oh my gosh, do I have to go to another one of those? And I've had people say that to me in the past. I remember this one guy who's a banker, had been in the banking world for years. Those events are so boring. Do I really have to go? And first of all, I want to tell you, our events are not boring. They are amazing. And for those of you that are watching this that have never been to an event, you don't really understand what I'm talking about, but you don't want to leave the room because there's such a massive amount of amazing information coming at you. You don't want to go to the bathroom. You don't want to go get a snack. You don't want to leave. It is amazing. And that's just the training of the event. I'm not even talking about the other fun stuff yet. And so let's get to the training of the event. The training isn't just on the business. Not only are you going to hear amazing, real, life-changing testimonies at the event that I will just tell you, the very first event that I ever went to, some of you have heard this story, some of you haven't. I'm going to tell you two first event stories. One, I was sitting in the crowd and I watched this woman cross the stage, and I think I'd been in the business for like, I don't know, 7, 8 months. I was calling somebody every day. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just calling. She got up on stage. She was like, I've been in 3 months and I've made $75,000. And I was like, what? How did she do that? Like, I had a lot of questions about that. And I'm watching her then, looking her up and down, like, that girl can do this, can do that. I can do this. Because I'm kind of like, you can do it, I can do it. And a lot of people think that way. So that's really powerful, is for you to be able to see people from all walks of life, professionals, non-professionals, people in their 70s, people in their 20s, get up on stage and accomplish things that you would love to accomplish and say, oh my gosh, they can do it, I can do it too. So that's one huge thing about events. That goes for regional events. Like, I'm going to go to an event here in a couple of days in Florida, and it's an area I've never been to, but I've heard about the testimonies coming out of this area. I already know how amazing it's going to be because I've been doing this for 9 years. I'm so excited about the testimonies, I can't even tell you, because it fires me up. Even though I've been doing this 9 years, the reason I really go to do events is to meet you guys and to hear testimonies I've never heard before, because it reminds me of the importance and the power of what we have our hands on. Because as you're doing the day-to-day and you're making your calls and you're coaching and you're dealing with discouraged people and you're doing all the little tiny things we have to do, and obviously, if you're watching this, you are building your business daily. I'm not talking about the people who just bring 2 and then walk away. If you're watching this, you're trying to build a big 6-figure income. You tend to forget why you joined. You tend to forget about the lives you're changing. Every time I go to corporate, I try to go to the customer service people and say, thank you so much, and remind them of what it is they're doing. Because they don't ever get to see us. They don't ever get to hear our testimonies. And so I just encourage you, when you talk to corporate, if you haven't shared your story, share your story with them, because it will light them up and it will remind them of the importance of where they work and what they're doing. So the testimonies are huge. After hearing that woman on stage, I was like, I could totally do this. Another story I have from a first event I went to, this was a larger networking event with thousands of people from hundreds of different network marketing companies globally, flew into Orlando. Actually, I think it was Dallas was the first one I went to, called a mastermind event. They're amazing. And it's multi-million-dollar earners from all over the world sharing their stories on stage. And I remember I was just getting started. I'd maybe been in a year or two, and I heard these people crossing stage who were making $100,000 a month, and they were in like coffee companies. And I knew the power of what we had in our products. Like, I had seen patients who'd had strokes 5 years ago who couldn't speak after the stroke start speaking on our products. I'm not making claims. I'm not saying that's going to happen for you, but I knew the power of our products. I'd seen a lot of people get off prescription medications at this point, and they're making $100,000 a month selling coffee. I saw that, I heard those testimonies, and I said, this out of control. Like I'm a smart girl. I'm about to figure this out. And so that is huge, to have your belief built up. A lot of people, when they join, when they give us their credit card, when they choose to join, they have all this hope, but the hope tends to kind of start to drizzle away sometimes as you begin to deal with people. I always say the best thing about our business is the people, and the worst thing about our business is the people. And so you can start to lose your hope, but the events pour belief into you. It's not hope anymore. It is belief. It is, if those 15 people who just crossed the stage can do this and make that kind of money, I can too. Tell me what to do. Then we pour into you how to do it. But there's also a lot of life training that goes on as well, because this isn't just a business. This is a life business. It's about making everything in your life better. Everything from organizing to your children, to your balance, to your life, to how you are with your spouse, everything, to how you run your day, to how much exercise you get. So you come out a better person. Okay. So the events are not something to dread. And once you've gone to one, you're like, oh, I'm never missing another one, you know. But I will tell you, in the weeks leading up to the event, oh my gosh, the attacks that you will come under in regards to your spouse trying to get you not to go, your children coming up with excuses or reasons or schoolwork or games or homework or tests or sicknesses. You're like, what is going on? It seems like I'm not supposed to go to this event. It could be just, maybe there's people in your business that are driving you crazy right now, or you're feeling really down about what it is you're doing in your business, and you feel like, no, I don't need to go to that. I'm not where I'm supposed to be in my business. I'm not accomplishing all that I wanted to accomplish since the last event. I'm not walking across the stage with the rank that I wanted to cross across the stage with, so I'm not going to go. Well, I'm going to tell you what, that's a nail in your coffin. Because I can tell even right now, I see who gets on the calls at night. On the leadership calls on Tuesday night, I can see who's engaged in the Zooms. I can see who's engaged and I can see who's not engaged. The people who are not engaged and not getting on the calls, they don't go to the event. And I'm just telling you, a year from now, all they're doing is consuming products and they're not inviting people to look at this. And if you're not inviting people to look at this, you're never going to find your builders. Okay. And so there's nothing wrong with being on AutoShip for the rest of your life and just consuming products. But if your goal here is to build a business, you need to be inviting people to take a look at this. And so you've got to get to the events. And I've said this very boldly in the past. If you're not at the company events, the ones that everybody in the nation come to, the likelihood of you being here and still building a year later are slim to none. Now, I get it. Once in a while, you've got a child's baptism, confirmation, a massive game you have to go to, your sister's wedding. There are times when you just absolutely cannot go, and you have to make a decision. I'm going to be tuned in, watching on Facebook, keeping update with everything that's released over the weekend. I am going to make sure that as soon as Saturday night, when they announce the next event, that I'm registered and I'm going to the next event. So it's not that you're definitely going to be out if you don't make it. You've just got to make a mindset like, I am going to be at the next event. Okay. But for those of you that, and I know that this is recorded and some people are watching it live and some people are watching it recorded, you need to go find out right now. You can go to purelifechangers.com and click on the event section. What is the next event that I need to be registered for and getting to? And sometimes there's regional events, sometimes there's some in your area, and sometimes they're far away events. So the importance of getting to the events, I cannot emphasize enough, for the relationship building, for the training, for the belief building. You put your credit card out here, whether it was a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and you're listening to this because you have this hope that someday you will accomplish something. Maybe you just want to make $1,000 a week. Maybe you want to make $100,000 a year. Maybe you want to make $100,000 a month. You have to get to these events. It's one of the necessities of building a six-figure residual income is getting to the events. And I've discussed the other necessities before. In fact, maybe that's the next training that I'll do, is that I think there's 6 or 7 necessities that I believe that there are out there that you have to be doing to build a six-figure, $100,000 a year, that's $2,000 a week, walk-away residual income. Okay, but one of them is getting to the events. So go online, register for the event now. People go, oh, it's expensive. Are you kidding me? It costs $125 a month to run this business, and you eat it. This is not an expensive business. Now, maybe you have an employee mentality. You've never owned a business before. You don't understand the concept of entrepreneurship. I'm telling you, if you start reading books on businesses and understanding that all businesses have a startup cost and all businesses have an overhead, a monthly overhead that you have to pay just to stay afloat, you guys, you've got to put money in aside for you to go to these events. There's usually 2 big ones a year that you've just got to get to. You've got to decide, I'm going to go to that event. If there's anything locally, you've got to get to those. You know, share a room with somebody if you have to. Drive if you have to. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that you're there. This event that's around the corner from today is sold out, but we can still get you tickets. So don't despair if you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get to that event. Don't worry. Reach out to me. We can make sure that you get into the room. There's also special platinum training and above at this upcoming event. And then I'll end by saying on our team, our life-changing team, my husband and I pour into our team. We are really big on building relationships. It's one of the things I'm going to be training on from stage at the upcoming conference. And we believe that it's important that we have a place where all of our team can get together and bond and get to know each other and meet each other, because we are kind of all a big support system. And so make sure that you are plugged in. You know what you need to do to earn your ticket to our Life Changer party that's coming up at this next event. We also have a special breakfast for people on our team who've hit platinum or above. You still have a couple of days to earn that. There's a special platinum and above training. You guys, there's so much stuff that you need to be aware of for next week. It's really, really exciting. So I hope this recording, or I hope this training has been helpful for you. And at the very least, you're thinking right now, I've got to go register for the next event, and look forward to it. Don't dread it. It is a lot of fun, and don't let anything stop you from going. I've learned over the years, 9 years now, that all these obstacles are thrown at me the week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before, so I pray against them. I'm like, oh, that's not happening. We're going to the event. And my husband, after being to multiple events now, he looks forward to the events as well. We're not letting things stop us from going. We're going to figure it out. All right, you guys, take care. Have a good day. I'm going to take some questions now.